Hello, everybody. Welcome. As we are letting everybody into the room, we are so excited to see such a full waiting room, straight up 8 o'clock here in the Pacific time zone. You are tuning into Ask Doc Live, which is a program that is being brought to you as a resource so that you can get more information on how you can become empowered to help yourself and those around you have a healthier, closer to optimal, if not optimal, health. So I just want to welcome everybody and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to invest in learning and what you can do. I mean, there's so many things that we can do as individuals when it comes to our health that it's crazy not to know. So the fact that you are here is very encouraging, that we do still have some amazingly smart people who are sponges and willing to learn about alternatives. You are here with the Ask Doc Live program. This program is sponsored by AskDocLive.com. And all of the information that you will be hearing today, including the replay of today's program and all of our programs that we have held for the past year and a month, will be there as well. So we have a store. Any product that you hear about in today's program is in that store, and including the books that Dr. Wallach will be sharing with us as well. So I am excited to get started. So I have to let you know that the content of this program is to provide educational information only on the importance of supplementation and nutrition, where the food supply around the world is empty and void of what the body actually needs to thrive. This program will be sharing nutritional options, and they're in a form that the body is readily able to absorb. We can't absorb rock, folks, not efficiently anyways. The program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician. And the FDA requires us to let you know that the products are not meant to treat, prevent, diagnose, or cure any diseases. Now, we bring good news. So many people have been said that they have genetic conditions. Well, epigenetics proves the theory of genetics, and it empowers us that through nutrition, we are able to give our bodies what it needs to do some miraculous things. And we are actually very honored to have one of the founding fathers of epigenetics here with us today to guide us and share with us what we can do from the man himself, Dr. Joel Wallach. Dr. Wallach, welcome to Ask Doc Live.
Well, thank you for the kind introduction, and thank you for your entire team this morning. And of course, the need for information is an ongoing need. That's how we're going to survive as a creature. We have to have information. And, right now, when you just look at yesterday's data, let's see here. We had, for instance, in the United States, we had 203,648 infections. We had 636,248 dead, okay, in the United States. And that compares with India, which has 5 times our population. They have 1.3 billion people. We only have 332 million. They have 5 times our population, and they only have 32 million. Let's see here, 32 million infections, okay? And so they have 429,000 dead, much fewer than we have. So what's going on here? Well, we have many problems. One of which, of course, we don't have all the raw materials necessary for our body to be well and survive. And this is just because these nutrients don't occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins and in deposits like gold and silver and coal and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to go to this fire that we have burning in the Dixie fire, they call it, north of Sacramento. And it's kind of a follow-up on the fire that burned the town of Greenville, California, which is north of Chico. So it goes Sacramento, Chico, then Greenville. Well, Greenville was a mining town and it burned to the ground. I mean, the entire town is nothing but ashes, 4 inches deep. There's nothing, there's no structure standing. Okay. And the fires north of Sacramento have been burning for over a month. They have 5,000 firefighters in there, 5,000 firefighters, and the fire is running away. Okay. They can't control it. And that's because they're treating it as a standard forest fire. Now, as an Eagle Scout with Troop 495 in Missouri, every fall we would help volunteer to fight forest fires and grass fires and prairie fires and things like that. So I know what these kind of wildfires look like and what they sound like and what they look like. This fire burning north of Sacramento is not your typical forest fire. The forest fires burn wood and brush and that kind of stuff. This fire is burning the atmosphere. The atmosphere is burning. Okay, that's why they can't put it out, because just chopping the trees down isn't solving the problem. Okay, and I believe that this is a methane fire as opposed to a carbon fire. Methane is a byproduct of drilling for oil and running oil distilleries and things like that, methane. And now hold on to your seat. Methane, it turns out, is 80 times more dangerous in fires than carbon fires. Methane is 80 times more dangerous. 80 times. We're not talking 1 time, 2 times. We're talking 80 times more dangerous, because this gas, it's being produced by all these oil wells. It's being produced by all the refineries. And so it reaches a certain level. And when it's burning, the entire atmosphere in that community is burning. That's what's going on here. And so this is going to be a long, painful process, because they're not treating it as a methane fire. They're treating it as a forest fire. Then I want you to appreciate that California, okay, California has 4,300,000. Let me back up. As of yesterday, yesterday's numbers were 4,100,889 infections and 64,000 dead. That's just California alone. So this just keeps going on and on and on and on and on, because they're not treating it correctly. All right. And so we have to get a hold of this. And I want everybody to kind of pay attention here. To get this under control, everybody's going to have to use the hand sanitizer. Everybody's going to have to use the colloidal silver. 4 doses a day. It's going to take 2 of our bottles a month. I've been doing it for 25 years, 2 droppers full under the tongue, 30 minutes for each meal before bedtime. And right now, when it comes to the COVID vaccinations, people say, well, I've been vaccinated. I've got the Moderna vaccination. I've got the Pfizer vaccination. Well, right now, this just came out yesterday that according to all the experts, the Pfizer vaccination is only 47% effective against this Delta variant from India, which is making up 83% of the infections today. So the Pfizer vaccine is only 47% effective against it. The Moderna vaccination is 76% effective against it, where both of them are effective, like 94, 97% effective against the original COVID-19 virus, but that's gone. Okay, it's the COVID Delta variant and the COVID Lambda variant that's in power right now, and our vaccines aren't working very good against it. Now you have to appreciate the vaccines do not kill the viruses. Vaccines do not kill viruses. All they do is alert your body to the presence of the bad DNA and RNA of the bug. So the bug shows up, your body says, ah, there's that bad DNA and RNA, it must be the bug. So you send in your white blood cells, your T lymphocytes, which is a very kind of like the Marine and Navy SEALs of the white blood cells, go in and kill and eat the viruses. And then you have antibodies that are produced by these stem cells in your bone marrow. Your bone marrow also produces red blood cells and platelets to help you from bleeding to death and all this kind of stuff from these infections. And so this is all part of the process. Well, there's two things that have to happen here. Number one, you have to stay away from the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, butter, rye, oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet ones got to go because they interrupt the absorption of these nutrients. They interrupt the transmission of these nutrients from your intestines to your bone marrow. Now, also, these bad things, in addition to interrupting the absorption because they kill the villi in your intestine, the gluten, wheat, bran, rye, and oats, they produce a substance that actually kills the villi in your intestine. So instead of your intestine looking like a shag rug like it should, a lot of absorptive surface, it looks like a plastic tube. You've lost 98% of your absorptive surface. And that's why people say, well, I've been vaccinated. Why did I get COVID? Why did my husband die of COVID when he was vaccinated? He had two vaccinations and 3 months later he died. Well, that's because he's eating oatmeal for breakfast, spaghetti 3 nights a week. He has pizza for lunch with the wheat crust, all right? And he's eating flour tortillas. And then he's drinking beer every Friday night made from wheat. And his intestines are dead. That's why he's got 8 diseases. He's on dialysis. He's got high blood pressure. He's got diabetes. He's got arthritis. He's got sciatica. He's got carpal tunnel syndrome. You're getting the drill here, okay? Because of all these nutritional deficiencies. And so you have to have more than just the vaccinations. You have to also have proper absorption. You have to have the 90 essential nutrients, which is required by your immune system, including your bone marrow, to produce all the antibodies and white blood cells to defend you. And without the white blood cells and the antibodies to defend you, and without the ability to absorb the nutrition, the vaccinations are not going to save you. And that's where we're at, because people are only getting like 1/3 or less of what they need to protect themselves. And now there was this new variant, it's less than 1/3. Okay, I mean, they're really in trouble. And so this is why we have to work at this like day and night to get this information out. And so this is why we come out with these CDs and DVDs and the books and so forth. And I want people to do 2 things. I want them to get my new book. It's called Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. It's 300 pages of gluten-free recipes. You know, people have been asking us about recipes for gluten-free meals forever. And so we finally came out with that. It was a 3-year study in Eastern Canada with professional chefs. We have this 300-page book now, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods, okay? 300 pages of recipes, and it goes into the stories of why we're in trouble with the gluten. We've always had a gluten problem, but you know, people were satisfied 200 years ago to live to be 50. Well, why would you want to leave 80 or 90 years on the table that you could spend with your loved ones and doing the things you like to do? All you have to do is stay away from gluten, take your 90 essential nutrients. And if you can't afford the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, I can understand, you know, that's our premium big tool in the toolbox. And that's our most expensive product. Healthy Brain and Heart Pack has 215 nutrients in it, including the core program, our Healthy Start Pack, which is like 1/2 of the cost of the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. So you say, you know, I weigh 200 pounds. I can't afford 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs. Okay, well, get 2 Healthy Start Packs. Start there. Get involved with longevity and start sponsoring a few people and make an extra $50 a month, an extra $100 a month, an extra $200 a month, an extra $500 a month, an extra $1,000 a month. And then you'll be able to afford 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs. And if you get the book, which is called Wallach Street, shortened to Wall Street, Wallach Street, Wall Street for Kids, it'll teach you how to make a business plan. And in your business plan, it'll say that your longevity business is responsible for paying for your supplements, which makes them tax deductible, is responsible for any special diet you need for health reasons, which is tax deductible, which also anything that you want to take as supplements, if you want to join a gym, you can say it's responsible for paying for your gym membership. Also, your rehydration products like the Rebound. And so all of that will be tax deductible. And you can get a couple extra $1,000 a month in tax deductions before even making any money. Okay, so why not have, say, 10, 12, 15, $20,000 worth of tax deductions at the end of the year? You're going to get a lot of money back. But you have to have that in your business plan. Okay, you can't just say that's what I'm doing. No, you got to get it typed out on your computer, written in your business plan, and you have a file entitled your business plan. And it goes into all the things that your Young Duty business is going to do, all the things it's going to provide for you, since you're the owner and the chief cook and bottle washer, if you will, and you're doing everything. So, you know, your business has to pay for you to stay in good shape and do all this stuff. Any education, any classes, any traveling you do is all tax deductible if it's associated with your business. This is not difficult, but you do have to pay attention to details. And this is something that a kid in 6th grade can do. This is 6th grade material. 6th grade material. So I want everybody to get a hold of my new book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. I want to get my book. It's all in your head. Goes into 25 diseases that are caused by osteoporosis of the skull. And then, you know, people say, well, there you go. Thank you. And they have to say, you know, in the beginning, I used to talk about the trilogy of books. Let's Play Doctor, Let's Play Herbal Doctor, Passport Aromatherapy. And then we had all these other books come along, including epigenetics and immortality and those kinds of things, which, you know, give you information so you can add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. But now I have what we call the quintet of books. I want you to get the quintet of books. There you go. The quintet of books includes the, let's see here, the original book, Let's Play Doctor, Let's Play Herbal Doctor, Passport Aromatherapy. It's all in your head. And now Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. Those 5 books will add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. Dead Doctors Don't Lie is one of my original books. That one has 600 million copies of the CD out there. And the book is in 2 languages, English and Spanish. The CDs are in 9 languages, 600 million copies around the world. Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And it's because doctors have missed it so badly. I'm the guy who got rid of cystic fibrosis because doctors thought it was a genetic disease, really just simple nutritional deficiency. I'm the guy that got rid of muscular dystrophy. They thought it was a genetic disease. It's really just a simple nutritional deficiency. I'm the guy that got rid of sudden death syndrome. Mothers were not laying on their babies. It was just a simple nutritional deficiency disease. I'm the guy who got rid of sudden death syndrome. That's why you haven't heard about those 3 diseases in the last 10 years, because I got rid of them. Okay, in court, in federal courts. The federal courts required the manufacturers of Enfamil and Similac and all these other baby formulas to put these nutrients in the baby formulas. Within a year, all those diseases disappeared. So, you know, we're in this up to our eyeballs, so to speak. And so I really, really, really want you to participate for the health of yourself and your families, your community, your church, your neighborhood, your workmates, your neighbors, and so on. But everybody can add 25 to 50 healthy years of your life. Why would you want to leave so many years on the table? And of course, this is all because of diet. And this is not a racial thing. This is a dietary thing. For instance, in California, 39% of the people who are in California are Latinos, 8% are Black. Okay, so now you're right there, without even looking at the indigenous peoples, you're looking at 39% and 8%, you're looking at what, 47%. Texas has 39% Latinos and 14% Black. So now you're looking at 53%. Okay, that's not even including the indigenous peoples. Florida has 25% Latinos and 18% Black. New York has 19%, 19%. Illinois has 17%, 16%. Pennsylvania has 7% Latinos and 13% Black. Georgia has 9.5% Latinos and 34%. They have the highest Black population in America. And right now they are running hot when it comes to infections. They have one of the highest rates of infections of all of our states is Georgia. Okay, we're talking about 5,000 to 6,000 new infections a month in Georgia. Okay, California has 12,000 new infections. Texas has 15,000 new infections. And you're looking at Florida, they get to something like 22,000 new infections because they have such a high population of Latinos. And it's not a thing that has to do with their race, it's their diet. It's their diet. And then my favorite, of course, is medical doctors in the emergency room. Their average lifespan, according to CDC, is 57 years of age. You subtract that from the human life expectancy, which is 155, subtract 57 from that. Medical doctors are leaving 98 years on the table. They're dying 98 years before they have to, because they're not paying attention to diet. They're not paying attention to nutrition. They're not paying attention to anything because they're doctors and they believe they know it all. And so that's why they're leaving 98 years on the table. It just kind of blows your mind. In America, across the board, we're leaving 80 years on the table. When you look at China, they leave 81 years on the table. When you look at Japan, they're leaving 71 years on the table. You look at the Philippines, they're leaving 85 years on the table. You look at Australia, they're leaving 72 years on the table. Vietnam is leaving 79 years on the table. New Zealand's only leaving 73 years on the table, but the Hunsas are only leaving 35 years on the table when you take their average is 120 years minus 155. So they're leaving 35 years on the table. But they're long-lived people in the Shangri-La Valley, which is not a mythical place, it's a real place, Shangri-La, in Hunza, between Pakistan and China. Their longest lived peoples documented, everybody agrees upon it, is 165, 168. Their average lifespan is 120. So what is it they're doing? Is it a genetic thing? No, it's their diet. It's their diet. And of course, they live near the Giltar Glacier and they're getting all these minerals from the Giltar Glacier and all the volcanoes and all that kind of stuff. And that's what's making it go. Well, that's why we bought all this Icelandic water, and I make all my drinks, from our powders and sticks and everything. I put those things in our Icelandic water. So I'm getting all those minerals from the volcanoes in Iceland. And in Iceland, they have one of the lowest rates of, let's see here, of deaths and infections from COVID anywhere in the world in Iceland, except for, of course, Hunza. Hunza has the lowest. And so in my personal life, I try to emulate that. And of course, it's written up in all the books, Rare Earths and Cures, Immortality. Immortality, I like that, the book, and Beyond Immortality, the CD, because it goes into the long-lived cultures and what it is they consciously do and what it is they consciously avoid, where they live, what's special about their soil, okay? And so all this is in these books and CDs. And then, of course, epigenetics, I'm considered, and you showed that book, I'm considered one of the two founding fathers of the science of epigenetics because I showed there were no genetically transmitted diseases. In my thesis, 20,000 autopsies. It's in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. And I'm not saying these things to brag and to boast. I'm trying to show you credibility here. When I say something, it's not just a hippie smoking pot coming up with some weird ideas. This has a true scientific basis to support what I'm saying. And of course, the fact that my thesis, 5,000 pages, is in the Smithsonian Institute. Does your doctor have a thesis in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure? No.
Mine does.
Okay. Well, I think I know him well.
I think you know him very well, and you've known him longer than anybody in this whole entire world. And,
well, there you go.
and you've actually fixed him.
That's right. Yeah, I had many problems that 20 doctors couldn't fix when I was a kid. When I was 9 years old, to make a long story short, I fixed it myself. And then I knew by the time I was 9 years old, the doctors didn't know anything about health. And that was very scary to a 9-year-old. They wanted to institutionalize me because I was a little bit crazy and violent. And 20 doctors didn't have a name for what I had, didn't know what to do for me. So Mary Jane Skeffington, little old grandmotherly pediatrician, eye doctor, said, we got to institutionalize him because he's going to hurt himself or somebody else. And so I said, what does that mean, Mom? She said, well, they're going to put you in the hospital. I said, well, how long am I going to be there? And she said, well, you may have to be there for the rest of your life. Well, that didn't sound good to a 9-year-old. So that night when everybody else is asleep, I'm sitting there at the end of the bed just thinking, why is it that I've got this problem? I'm eating the same thing that all the animals were feeding or getting. No, wait a minute. No, I'm not. I'm eating the same stuff from the garden, but we're giving them vitamins and minerals. So the next morning I threw the Cheerios out to the chickens in the garden, and I went into the barn and got our little alfalfa pellets with the bottoms and middles in it and put that in my cereal bowl, put milk in it, and then had that for breakfast as my cereal for 3 days in a row. And my problem that I'd had for 5 years, getting worse and worse and worse, was gone in 3 days. And so when I was 9 years old, I realized the doctors didn't know what they were doing, because 20 doctors couldn't figure it out. That was very, very scary to a 9-year-old. Well, I didn't say anything. I said nothing. Well, within a couple of weeks at church, everybody's whispering and pointing, because I was a different person. I'm just sitting there, I'm singing in the hymnal and doing everything right, where before I was very disruptive and they had to usher me out and so forth. Well, now everything's going good. Well, another month later, this little old lady comes up to me and says, I hear you can cure my diabetes. I said, ma'am, I'm only 9 years old. I don't even know what diabetes is. I apologize. I can't help you. But that night I went back home and I looked through our books that we have, because, when you're in the farm, you don't have the veterinarian come out because we don't have health insurance for the animals. You have life insurance for racehorses, but for a dairy cow, you don't have any health insurance for them. You treat them yourself because you can't afford to have a veterinarian come out and treat them. And so we have all these books, and I looked it up, type 2 diabetes, and it's a simple nutritional deficiency disease. It's not genetic. When people have 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 different diseases, the doctor says, well, you got bad genes, that's why I have all these diseases. That doctor should go to jail, and the patient should be put on the 90 essential nutrients. If they don't have a lot of money, they can go for the Healthy Start Pack. It has the 90 essential nutrients, the original program. And then, of course, if finances are not an issue, they could take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, which has 215 nutrients in it, whereas the Healthy Start Pack has the 90 essential nutrients in it. And of course, it's the core of the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. We've added 115 nutrients to that to make it really unique. And so this is something that everybody's got to pay attention to. How long do you need oxygen? Well, forever. How long do you need water? Forever. How long do you need the 90 essential nutrients? Duh, forever. And I get people who actually ask me, well, how long do I have to stay on these supplements? Well, as long as you want to live, and as long as you're alive, you need to be on these 90 essential nutrients. You need to be avoiding the bad stuff so you can maximize absorption. And if you start eating bad foods, you're wasting your time and money by taking all these supplements, because you're going to die early anyway. So you might as well not spend the money. Give the money to your kids. It's one of those things. If you want to spend an extra 25 to 50 years with your loved ones, do the things you like to do, get rid of the bad foods, get on the 90 essential nutrients. If you can only afford $3 a day, then you go with the Healthy Start Pack. If a little bit extra doesn't matter, then go with the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Or if you need 2 packs, go with 1 Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and 1 Healthy Start Pack. I mean, you can be creative here, but you need to get those 90 essential nutrients so that your body's not looking around in your food, because if, plants only need 3 elements to make good seeds for the next generation. Plants do not make minerals. Plants do not make minerals. I cannot say that often enough. Plants do not make minerals. Now, plants can make organic products like proteins and amino acids. They can make vitamins like vitamin C. They can make vitamin A, beta carotene, that kind of stuff. They make B vitamins, but the B vitamins are made by grains, which is potentially very dangerous. But if you want to eat like an Asian, eat rice. There's no gluten in rice. There's no gluten in millet. Okay, and so you can eat those gluten grains. Eat like an Asian. Eat corn. Don't eat fried corn. You can eat roasted ears. You can eat boiled corn. I eat roasted ears a lot. I eat boiled corn, but I do not eat fried corn, because you cannot eat anything fried because of the trans fats that it creates, which cause cancer. So this is not difficult, but you have to adhere to the program. You can't say, well, I can have one, just can I have one cheat meal, like a breakfast after church and have pancakes? Well, if the pancakes are made from rice, that's fine. But if they're made from wheat, brown, rye, and oats, no. And so some of these restaurants actually have a gluten menu, gluten-free menu. And so you can look on there, but you have to appreciate that there's same kitchen. So there could be cross-contamination in the kitchen. And so I'd still be highly suspicious unless they have a separate kitchen. A lot of times they will have a separate kitchen outside, not outside in the yard, but outside in the restaurant, so that you can see they're cooking your food separately there, not in the kitchen where all the gluten is. And so those are the places you want to go, that they're taking extra care to be gluten-free. Okay, back to you.
So Dr. Wallach, I want to go back to something and really kind of put some light on this. If you're dealing with a lot of health conditions and you do the 90 essential nutrients, you give the body what it needs, well, 215 essential nutrients, and you come back to being closer to having optimal health. But then let's think about this. If we stop giving the body what it needs, what it was craving, so that it could function properly and get rid of all these different ailments, why on earth would you stop? Why?
Well, that's,
because think about it.
Yeah, well, that's the ultimate question.
Yeah, you go back to the way you were eating. How can you expect a different outcome?
Well, the same thing is true, like with smokers. They'll get themselves in trouble with smoking, and they get lung cancer, and they keep smoking. Well, if I'm going to die anyway, I'm just going to do it. I wake up in the middle of the night craving the tobacco. Okay, well, they put themselves in that position, and they're not prepared to undergo the self-control necessary to get rid of something. What if by getting off the cigarettes, you're going to add 3 more years to your life? Isn't 3 more years valuable to you? It might not cure your cancer to get rid of the smoking, but it could give you an extra 3 years with your loved ones. Aren't your loved ones more important to you than smoking? Well, I don't know. I can't go without it. Well, you chose poorly. Okay. And so these are the sort of things that you hear and see all the time. And so people aren't rational about when they're addicted to pot or to cigarettes or to alcohol. They're not rational when they make their decisions. And so sometimes you have to help them. You keep, every time they come home with a bottle of whiskey, you go outside and take a brick and you break that bottle of whiskey. You say, well, I paid $20 for that. Well, I'm not gonna let you have it because I want you for another 20 years. So 2 days later, they come back with another bottle of whiskey. You take a brick and you're out in the yard and you break that bottle of whiskey. I'm going to keep breaking these bottles of whiskey because I want you for another 20 years. I'm not going to let you kill yourself early. Okay. And this is, you got to be sort of proactive here, because you're not going to talk them out of giving up their addiction. They have to be forced to give up their addiction. And then you'll add many healthy years to their life, and you'll have your time together where, people marry each other because they love each other. And people, once the alcohol or cigarettes or whatever it is they're doing comes in, or pot or whatever it is comes in between them, suddenly now there's another entity in there. And so you have to get rid of that entity if people are going to make rational decisions.
So one thing that I've noticed, Dr. Wallach, and working with clients, especially those that are dealing with addictions, is once we start getting them on the 90 essential nutrients, and we have a product called de-stress, those cravings diminish.
That's correct.
They're able to have more control over what they choose to put in their body. And if you've got 6 inches of messed up mindset, because the brain's not being fed, it is more difficult to make those wise decisions on what's really important. It really is.
Yeah, but you take your nutrients, it makes it easier.
Absolutely.
You got to take those nutrients. And again, this is forever. As long as you're needing oxygen and water, you need these nutrients. And this is why people on Earth, like the Hunses, that's why they live to be 120 and we live to be 75. That doesn't even sound right to me. We're supposed to have the best medical system on Earth and we only live to be 75. Right. This is crazy.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound right to be a non-third world country with so much technology and so much, elevated knowledge, yet our lifespan is so short.
And it dropped 5 years. In the last 10 years, it's dropped 5 years. That's because the COVID thing is killing us early. And so why is the COVID thing killing us? Because we don't have the immune system to fend it off. Because, we're just eating food. We're eating oatmeal for breakfast and flour tortillas and spaghetti at dinner time and pizza crust made from wheat and drinking beer every night made from wheat and not paying attention. And these people tend not to be supplementers. They smoke and they tend not to supplement. And so they have many, many things going on that are in the negative column. And so this is an ongoing problem because there's so many things out there that are attractive. The kids say, well, yeah, my buddies are smoking, so I thought I'd try it. Well, that's the wrong attitude. I'll watch them for the next couple of years and see if they're still alive in a couple of years, see what diseases they have before I go do what they're doing.
I kind of like that. Hey, my buddy's eating prime rib once a week. Let's try that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, goodness, Dr. Wallach. So yeah, it amazes me how when we get somebody that says, okay, I'm willing to try something different, even if it's just for 90 days, the change that comes. I mean, I've had people in 15 days reach out and say, like, I no longer have my acid reflux. Things that they had been taking pharmaceuticals for and were told they would live the rest of their life with. They're no longer experiencing those things. And I love how it just kind of starts this snowball effect where they're no longer having bloating. They're no longer having bouts going back and forth with their bowels, that they're either constipated or they have diarrhea all the time. It's just that for the first time, they're like, I've never had a regular bowel movement. And it seems crazy, when you think about it, but how many people are like that? And it's
unfortunately, many. Now, let me give you a statistic here. This is yesterday's figures. Compare the state of Florida and Australia, the country of Australia. They both have about the same population. Okay, they both have about 23 million people. And Australia has 933 dead from COVID. Florida has 39,602. 39,602 dead versus 933 dead in Australia. And then Australia has 35,000 infections, and Florida, as of yesterday, has 2.8 million, 2,827,000 infections. Is 2.8 million more than 35,000? Well,
a little bit.
Yeah, it's outrageous. Well, it's a difference in diet. Okay, Australia, they have 40% of people in Australia are indigenous peoples. Okay, they are the Maoris and so forth. They live on maize, corn, rice, sweet potatoes, beans, and squash and seaweed. And so a lot of the European originated Australians eat the same way the indigenous peoples do. And in Florida, remember, we're talking 25% Latino and 15% Black. So we're talking almost 50% of the population is eating wheat. And so that's why Florida has such a bad record here. It just makes you want to cry for them because it's the diet. It's not racial. It's not genetic. It's a dietary thing that's causing the problem. If everybody in Australia were to eat like the Maoris in Australia, if everybody in Florida were to eat like the Maoris in Australia, we would almost totally end the pandemic infections and deaths in Florida almost overnight.
So in short, we have what is needed within us when the body is fed properly without the toxins and contaminants, that the body needs to ward off many different things.
That's correct.
It's just we have to be intentional of what we do and don't put in our mouths and make sure that the body is getting the nutrients that it needs. And that has to be through supplementation because it's not in the food.
That's correct. It's not in the food. Plants only need 3 elements to make good, to make maximum yields for farmers: NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So when you look at commercial fertilizers, I mean, just straight commercial fertilizers in 50-pound bags or, 5,000 gallon tank trucks or whatever, these commercial fertilizers, they only contain those 3 nutrients because farmers get paid for tons and bushels. Farmers do not get paid by the nutritional value of the food. That's why they give extra vitamins and minerals to their livestock, because they don't want to have to pay veterinary bills and have the veterinarian come out and treat the animals. So it's cheaper to just give them vitamins and minerals. We need to think in those terms. It's cheaper to add vitamins and minerals to our diet. It's cheaper, and not only is it cheaper, but also we can add 25 to 50 healthful years to our life for, like, depending on how big you are, anywhere from $3 to $8 a day. And if $8 a day is too expensive for you, go to $3 a day. Okay, that's cheaper than cigarettes. And so it's one of those things where you can add 25 to 50 healthier years to your life between anywhere from $3 to $8 a day, depending on your body weight and, just whether you want the Volkswagen or the Cadillac. That's
right. So it all comes back to what is your health worth? What are you willing to invest in your greatest asset? And that's you. And we do get very creative in helping people meet their nutritional needs on limited budgets. And so don't come up with I can't afford it. Let us try to help you figure out exactly what you need that will fit in your budget.
Okay, now let's say something else here again. I want to remind them that when you start a longevity business, you don't have to buy an inventory. You just take the orders from your customers, and the company will ship the orders directly to them. So it's not like you have to spend $10,000 for an inventory. Okay, that'll come later, when you've been in the business for 5 years, you're making some pretty good money by that time. But just think about it. You can make a couple of $1,000s a month from tax rebates just by having a business plan that you've written down, put in a folder. So if the government comes want to see your business plan, okay, here's my folder, here's my business. Okay, there's nothing they can do because you have a business and you have a business plan that says your business is going to pay for your supplements, your business is going to pay for your nutrition, your business is going to pay for your health club membership, it's going to pay for any traveling you do to give speeches or talks or introduce the business to somebody. And this is not difficult. It's all in the book that we wrote for kids. It's Wallach Street for Kids, Wall Street for Kids. And it tells you step by step, 6th grade reading level, how to build a business, how to get a business plan that's acceptable to the government, to get all those tax returns, tax rebates. You can make several $1,000s a month in tax returns, especially if you're running your longevity business out of your home. Okay. And let's say you're using 25% of your floor space for your office, for your warehouse, for your consultation room, that kind of stuff. And I said warehouse, I think, yeah. And so it's one of those things where, let's say you're using 25% of your home floor space and for your business, and your mortgage is, say, $2,000. That's $500 a month you're getting back. Well, you're also getting back 25% of your utilities, your homeowner's insurance. So now you're up to $1,000 a month in tax rebate. That's $12,000 a year.
Yeah, it adds up quickly. And Dr. Wallach, I want to sweeten the deal a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll teach you how to get your Healthy Body Start pack for nothing if you're building your business.
Wow. That's a beautiful thing.
It's a very beautiful thing.
Well, free is cheaper than $3 a day.
And you still get those tax write-offs.
You still get the tax write-off. Wow.
So how can you say no to that? Because you'll have your business. So anyways, that's just some of the things that I really encourage you to get back with the person that shared this program with you, not only for your own health, but the health of those in your community, those that you love, those that are around you, that when you think about it, every time they're telling you about, things that are going on, they're screaming for help. They want help and they don't have answers. And with you being here and getting the information that Dr. Wallach is sharing today and having the ability to share this program with others that is helping people find answers that they can do on their own without the expensive medical bills and have that long life or longer life where they can actually enjoy it instead of dread it. Because I know at 30 years old, I was dreading it, absolutely dreading it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and tell people a little bit about your story. You've lost how much weight?
So I'm down 100 pounds. And when I was 30 years old, and well, even until I was 45, I was depressed very much, especially at 45. And because I had degenerative bone and disc disease, my whole body hurt. I was falling apart. I had digestive issues. I had mental issues. Maybe I still do because I have such a passion for life now. But, there's so many things that when I gave my body what it needed, after years and years and years of putting my hands in the medical system's control, I'm a new person. And the fact that I can be here and talk to you and have you as my doctor, I think is one of the greatest things ever.
Well, and everybody loves you and respects you because you're so helpful. You're an angel of God, and we love you for it.
Well, I love what I do. I love people, and I just, I'm honored. I'm honored to be able to host this program. So,
And you do a great job.
well, thank you, Dr. Wallach. Thank you. So, Dr. Wallach, we have lots of questions. We have hands up, and I want to make sure that we get to them because their concerns are the concerns of many, many others. And sharing their questions is what's going to help even more people. Now, the first one, Dr. Wallach, that is a question that is in the comments, and I don't blame her for not wanting to come on camera because it's a little bit of a touchy situation. Mari is 28 weeks pregnant, Dr. Wallach. She's been diagnosed, or the baby has been said that they have a genetic condition called Trisomy 13. She currently weighs 184 pounds. She's 37, 5'6". Her main concern is wanting to know if there's anything that you can recommend to help with, one, gestational diabetes, but two, help the baby grow and not end in stillbirth.
Okay, well, first of all, trisomy is a birth defect that's caused by nutritional deficiencies at the beginning of pregnancy. Okay, it's not reversible. Okay.
Okay.
And so it comes in various degrees of severity. Okay. And so she's got to do everything she can to take the 90 essential nutrients and support that baby as much as she can. The baby may be an invalid when it's born. And it's one of those things where who's responsible? Well, did that OBGYN tell her to take prenatal vitamins because she was in the childbearing years and she was actually, sexually active and all that kind of stuff? Even though she's taking birth control pills, they should have been saying, look, just in case something happens here, you better be taking the 90 essential nutrients so that that baby's going to be good. Well, the OBGYNs never say that. And so when a baby is born with trisomy, is born with Down syndrome, is born with cleft palate, is born with cerebral palsy, is born with spina bifida, is born with heart defects, all that kind of stuff. Well, whose fault was that? It was the OBGYN's fault. I get people call me all the time, Rebecca, and they say, well, I'm 4 months pregnant and, I've got a baby with 3 birth defects. Is there anything I can do? I said, well, I don't know. You need to get on the 90 essential nutrients now and save the baby if we can. But when the baby's born, we can get it immediately. If you're going to breastfeed the baby, you need to be taking double the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack to get more nutrition to the baby. If you're going to feed, infant milk Similac, you need to give it to Kids Toddy and the EFAs in their formula, so forth, and see what we can do. Some of these things are reversible. Things like spina bifida is usually reversible, that kind of stuff. But many things like Down syndrome, there's a point in which you cannot reverse it. I've reversed them, but it's usually in the first 3 months of pregnancy. Okay, now when the baby is like 5 months along, the odds of reversing the Down syndrome is pretty low. But you can actually improve it a little bit. You might be able to improve it 10, 15, 20%. So it's not so dramatically catastrophic, but it's totally preventable. These things are totally preventable. And so people have a case. People have a case. When their doctor didn't say, you need to be taking these 90 essential nutrients, even if you don't plan on having a baby. In case something happens here, you want to make sure that that embryo immediately, as soon as the sperm fertilizes the egg, that those nutrients are there. So there's no problems. But unless that OBGYN is saying that every time that woman comes in, every month or twice a year, or whatever it is, and they should, even when they're not coming in every month, they should send them a postcard every month saying, I want to remind you, if you're sexually active, even if you're on birth control pills, you need to be taking the 90 essential nutrients in case a pregnancy occurs, that the baby's going to get the best chance of being perfect, because it's totally preventable. And that's why I'm considered one of the fathers of the science of epigenetics, because there are no genetically transmitted diseases. There are no genetically transmitted birth defects. They're all nutritional deficiency diseases. And that's very scary, because so many of the OBGYNs are just not into that. And they say, well, I can, write prescriptions for some prenatal vitamins. And people say, well, no, I'll pass because I don't plan on getting pregnant. But he should say, okay, I'm going to give you a sheet of paper here. Okay, I want you to take your prenatal vitamins, even though you don't plan on getting pregnant. In case of pregnancy occurs, you don't want a baby with 3 birth defects. You don't want to have a baby that has Down syndrome. It's totally preventable. And so you really, really want to review this, with your boyfriend, your husband, or whoever it is you're running with, and make sure that everybody's on the same page here, because everybody's going to pay a horrible price if this baby is born with 1 or 2 or 3 catastrophic birth defects here. And it's all totally preventable. This is not a genetic thing. We don't have any history of that in our families. Well, that doesn't matter. Did they all live in the same place? No. They lived in Canada. Well, where do you live now? Oh, I live in Texas now. Okay, well, you better be taking the 90 essential nutrients, if you live in Texas, because, there's the nutrients in the soil are not the same in Texas as they are in Canada.
Right. So one thing that I want to point out is, even if we're not able to reverse things, we can give every living being just support it so that they can be the best that they can be.
Oh yeah, exactly. If you can improve somebody 25% with Down syndrome, and they can become functional and can, write and actually, I have so many Down syndrome kids and young adults who have great jobs because they're functional, because they're on the 90 essential nutrients. Okay, if they weren't on the 90 essential nutrients, they would be a vegetable. Okay, and so this is one of those things where you want to give everybody every opportunity before they get the problem. Well, then if you don't have that opportunity because you don't know them, and somebody brings you somebody with these problems, you get them on the program. And if you can improve them 10%, 20%, 50%, that's beautiful. Now, things like cleft palate, that's a surgical thing. You can prevent it 100%, but when they're born with a cleft palate, it's a surgical thing. And so you have all kinds of variations, but I just get breathless when I think about how much misery we can avoid just simply by supplementing prior to conception.
Absolutely. And we should be doing that whether we're thinking about, the possibilities of bringing more life into this world anyways, because we ourselves are worth it.
That's correct.
So, yeah. So thank you so much, Dr. Wallach, for going so deep into that. I know it's going to be greatly appreciated and used by so many. So Corey has a question. Is it necessary to avoid wheat flour lipids, oat flour, and wheat amino acids in lotions, shampoos, and conditioners?
Yes.
So whether we're putting it in our body.
Don't even say the word. Don't even say the word.
So you want to take those things out of your home, because that's where cross-contamination can
and those things are expensive. So what you want to do is box them up, put a beautiful ribbon around them, and give them to your doctor with love. Give them to your doctor with love, because I'm sure he'll use them, or give them to his family because he's ignorant. But give them to your doctor with love. Don't throw them away. And you get to write it off as a tax deduction because you're, as part of building your business is giving gifts to your customers. So yeah, don't throw them away because there's, most people probably have a couple of $100 worth of gluten in their house. I mean, I have won so many bets. I don't have any gluten in my house. They say, okay, would you give me $100 for a source of gluten I find? Yeah, okay. And they think I'm going to come tomorrow. No, let's go right now. And they kind of get this funny look on their face. Let's go right now. They'll wind up paying me $300, $500, $800 because I have witnesses. Because I had witnesses that they said they would pay me for every source of gluten I find in their cupboard.
Right. Well, it's hidden, and you do have to be intentional in making sure that you keep it out of your diet. So
And you have to read labels. You have to read labels.
Absolutely read labels.
Especially in health food.
Yeah, it's sad. And so the next question is, what do you think about soy?
Okay, soy is okay. Soy is a bean. It doesn't have any gluten in it. You can't fry soy, but I like to have like soybeans in my salads and things like that. I eat a lot of beans because they have good protein in them, and they don't have any gluten in them. They do have some starch in them, which is good. They have some carbohydrates in them, and so that's good to get some energy that way. And so that's part of my meal menu. This morning for breakfast, I had 3 big scoops of let's see here, rice. Okay, this rice was wild rice, and then I had 3 poached eggs with soft yolks. I had 2 slices of smoked salmon, wild salmon from the rivers of Alaska. And I had 2 of these 4-ounce cups of gluten-free yogurt, 1 lemon, the other one was strawberry rhubarb. Ooh, that was good. And then I take, of course, my colloidal silver. I take my 90 essential nutrients, and I take my rebound. And so, breakfast is a very busy meal for me. And then I do the same thing at dinner time. And tonight I'm going to have steak. Instead of the salmon, but otherwise the meal will be pretty much the same. But then as breakfast, but then tomorrow, Saturdays, oh my gosh, I get Australian lamb chops. Oh, I love them with sweet potatoes and butter. Good. And so you don't have to think, oh, I can't eat gluten. My diet's gonna be awful. I eat very well, believe me. I eat very well. I eat exotic, but I don't eat gluten.
Yes. Well, and I didn't know until 4 years ago that yams were something that are available all year long, not just at Thanksgiving.
That's
because
right.
we only had yams with our Thanksgiving dinner. And I never thought about all the different ways you could do yams other than adding brown sugar and marshmallows.
But you can do that for breakfast. You can do that for dinner. Yeah.
Yep,
Yams.
I've learned a lot.
I probably eat yams, aka sweet potatoes, for maybe 5 or 6 meals a week.
Yeah, I love them. They taste good. Anytime I have a sweet craving, taken care of.
Yeah, how much gluten is in them?
None.
0. You got it.
And you put butter on there and just add extra goodness.
A little cinnamon. Woo, woo, woo.
Really good. So Dr. Wallach, we are at the top of the hour, and we want to thank everybody for sticking with us and coming, just gleaning all the information that Dr. Wallach is sharing with us in this 2-hour program. I really want to encourage you that if somebody shared this program with you, get back with them, especially if you have some questions. So this next hour, Dr. Wallach is going to be sharing and answering questions from the people who are on with us. And he's going to be making some supplement recommendations. The person that shared this program with you will be able to help you get the supplements that you need to help you obtain better, if not optimal health. Now, part of the AskDocLive.com website does have a store, but again, if somebody referred you to this program, get back with them. They have a vested interest in your health because, one, they know you, they care about you. For those who have never spoken to anybody about longevity or Dr. Wallach or any of the products that he recommends, we do have a call team standing by at 855-949-7234. Again, this is if you have never spoken to anybody about longevity or any of the products that longevity offers or Dr. Wallach mentions today. So we are going to do a 5-minute break. Get up, stretch, get yourself a big glass of water. Yes, water. And just, we'll be right back. So don't go away. All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope everybody did get up and stretch and get some blood flow in. It's all about keeping circulation so that the body can be fed throughout. Again, get with the person that invited you to this program. For those of you who are on live with us today, if you would like to ask Dr. Wallach questions about your own personal health or the health of a loved one, you can raise your hand by going to the reactions button that is in the Zoom menu. Under the reactions, you will see the little icon that allows you to click and raise your hand. So I am going through and calling on people in the order that their hands were raised. So the sooner you get your hand raised, the better. And as soon as Dr. Wallach gets back with us, then we will be ready to go. So Dr. Wallach, go ahead and unmute yourself. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Awesome, awesome. So let's go ahead and go to the first hand that is raised, Dr. Wallach, and that is Sam. Captain Sam, go ahead and unmute yourself. You are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hey, hello, Doc. Great to be here with you.
Thank you, Sam. How can we help you?
Well, first I want to get a comment. I'm reading your book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, and wow, what a story. I feel I know you way better. Okay,
Thank you.
I would recommend everybody to read that. And so,
thank you.
Yes, it's an honor to be on the team with you, sir.
Glad to have you.
Yeah. Oh, yes, especially today. So when I realized that my olive oil is all rancid, right? I started using it on my skin. And what do you suggest about it works great in the sun, and I figured that's the best use for rancid olive oil.
Well, actually, you're absorbing some of the bad stuff when you use rancid olive oil on your skin. Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't want to be doing that. And so what I would do for your skin, we actually have hair, skin, and nails. It's a program that's designed for the skin, the fingernails, and the hair. You have some gray hair. So that tells me a lot. Do you have any varicose veins?
No.
Any spider veins?
No, maybe in one spot. Only, one spot where my driving foot.
Okay,
so
there you go.
Yeah, one spot.
Okay. Do you have any ringing in your ears? Any tinnitus or ringing in your ears?
Not really. No.
Okay, good. Do you ever get hiccups?
No.
Do you have any high blood pressure, diabetes?
No.
Good. Any arthritis, any back problems, arm problems, wrist problems, knee problems?
I've had those kind of issues so off and on for a long time, but in the last 4 months that I've been on the Core 90, those problems have diminished tremendously.
Okay, good.
All right. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you want to stay in that direction, but yeah, I would not put the rancid oil on your skin.
Okay. Pour it out.
Yeah, throw it out.
Okay.
I wouldn't even give it to a communist.
Maybe it'd be a good idea. I don't know. Okay.
Now, boys.
All right. And then one more comment I want to make, and I've always had the knowledge of this in my early teens when I've always been an athlete and competitor. I always have known that the allopathic doctors, unless you have a trauma, they're the most dangerous people on the planet, and never more so today do I believe that. I mean, and I say that realistically. You got a trauma, great, but For health, oh my God, they are the most dangerous people on our planet Earth today.
Yeah, well, do you ever hear that? You ever hear that old statement? The operation was a success, but the patient died.
Sure have. Yes, yes.
Okay, and that's still
Yeah.
true today.
Yeah, my mom is one example. When she
Oh.
went through all the stuff with her breast cancer, she had great insurance. $300,000 later, okay, the brain and the big $15,000 guy that billed her, he talked to her for all of 60 seconds.
Oh
After
my.
that. So she died worse and more horrible than she had done if she had done nothing. So I learned that lesson in the early 2000s right away. And
Okay. Well, sorry to hear that, but thank you for sharing your mom's story.
Yeah. Right.
God bless you, Sam.
Thank you. You too, sir.
All right. Thank you, Sam. So Dr. Wallach, Treva is 76 years old. She's 107 pounds, 5'2" ago. 5'2". 2 years ago, she got compression fractures in her back, and she's been told that she'll never be the same. Currently, she cannot stand, sit, or walk, but for only short periods of time. Is it true that that she'll never be able to hike and be active like she was? And from my personal experience with multiple compression fractures and knowing that pain, it's very possible to overcome, isn't it, Dr. Wallach?
Yes, and of course, the human body has a great capacity. The good Lord gave us a great capacity to heal, but you need raw materials. So at 107 pounds, I'd have her take one Healthy Brain and Heart pack per month. I'd have her get another bottle of our selenium, so you can take 3 of those twice a day. I'd have her get 1 bottle of our MSM, so you can take 3 of those twice a day. And that's going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between her vertebrae, bone matrix, bone itself, including her skull. The odds are she's got osteoporosis of the skull as well as in her back and her shoulders and her hips and every place else. I also want her to have vitamin D3. She needs 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. She needs the collagen. She can have the liquid. She could take 1 ounce twice a day of the liquid glucogel, or 2 quarts a month, or she could take 2 bottles a month of the capsules and take 3 or 4 of those capsules twice a day. And then I would also have her use topically. I would have her use topically on her back or her shoulders or neck or wherever she's having all these problems. I would have her utilize our CM cream and her trauma oil, or she could use the Hemp FX Soothe, okay, which comes in a little pump bottle. The CBD oil, several other herbs added to it. There's no THC in it, so there's no worries about legal problems and that kind of stuff or getting addicted to it. But she needs to use some topical pain relief. But with all these supplements, the body has, I take people who have not been able to walk for years. We're talking many, 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 many years. And just in 6 to 8 weeks time, they're out there walking and riding stationary bikes and all this kind of stuff. So no reason why not to do these things. Give it a try. She should also, keep track of information and so forth, so she can share this with people she's going to share this information with. And usually somebody who has all these disabilities and they rebuild themselves, they have such a great story, such a great testimony. It's very easy for them to create a business because people want to hear their story. Well, if that helped you, I'll try it kind of attitude. If that helps you, I'll try. So I'm sure you get the same thing. You have so many great testimonies, your own personal stories, Rebecca, that people say, okay, Rebecca, if that worked for you, I'm going to give it a shot. You probably hear that a lot.
I do. And, in the beginning, Dr. Wallach, I kind of had a hard time with, financially benefiting from telling my story. But when you think about it and you recommend this restaurant or this shampoo, you're not making anything off of that. Who's making that? Somebody that you don't even know. So, it's okay to share your story with other people and have them get fabulous results. And yes, you can benefit from it, but so how else are you going to support family and create a legacy that you can leave to somebody else? I love that. I absolutely love that.
Thank you. That's a beautiful story.
Well, let's go to the next hand up, and Sam Rodditt, And so I'm hoping that I'm saying that fairly close to being correct. If you don't mind unmuting yourself and a camera, if you have that available, you are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Wallace.
Good morning. I apologize. I missed, how do you pronounce your name?
Samra Wheat. Just say Sam. That's easier.
Sam. Okay,
Yes.
Sam. Okay.
Yeah.
How can we
And
help you?
I'm 51 years old, 117. And I take the 90, selenium, and the MSM. Now
Okay,
the
good girl.
problem, yes, it's been like 4 years.
Wow.
The problem I'm having is that I went to see a doctor and they said that I have arthritis on my hip. It says bilateral acetabular sclerosis. I don't even know how to pronounce it. So what do you recommend I should do?
Okay. And so you have joint problems in your hips. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So basically what I want to give you is a program for 117 pounds, and it may be just a slight, addition or adjustment on what you're already taking. And so are you coloring your hair, or is that your natural hair color?
I put henna. That's not natural color. I have
Okay.
a brown hair, so I just put the black henna.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any varicose veins in your legs, anything like that?
No,
Okay. Do you ever get any hiccups?
no,
Okay, good. Do you have any ringing in your ears?
no,
Do you have any heart issues or high blood pressure or diabetes?
no.
Okay, good. All right. So here we go.
But one thing I want to tell you, I'm a cancer survivor, breast cancer survivor.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
When were you told you didn't have breast cancer anymore?
I had the mastectomy and all the conventional things like 5 years ago.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, bless you. All right. Thank you for sharing that story. All right. And so basically you need to, again, stay away from all the bad stuff, which created the breast cancer. You need to stay away from all the bad stuff: fried foods, processed meats, oils, glutens, wheat, butter, bran, oats. And we're talking about sugar, all that's got to go. Carbonated drinks, all that's got to go. And that'll help me a little bit with your eating habits. So what is your country of origin?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Very good. Thank you.
I eat injera, teff, which is gluten-free.
I'm sorry, say again.
Do you know teff, T-E-F-F, the grain? It's gluten-free.
Okay. As long as it's gluten-free.
Yes. Actually, yeah, mostly I eat vegetables.
Okay. So
and no gluten.
Very good. No gluten. So none of the bad
Yes.
foods.
No
Then,
bad food.
And at 117 pounds, I want you to take one healthy brain and heart pack per month. One healthy brain and heart pack per month. That's our big hammer in the toolbox. Once you get another
Okay.
bottle of our selenium, so you can take 3 twice a day, or you could take 2 3 times a day for a total of 6 a day. One bottle comes with the healthy brain and heart pack. Then I also want you to get, because you have this stuff going on in your hips, I want you to get 2 bottles of our MSM. So you can take 3 with each meal, 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch or dinner time. And they're designed to support and promote maintenance, repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone makes your bone itself. And then I also want you to get our Fucoid Z, get the capsules, take 3 of those twice a day, and they're going to help your immune system. Since you have a history of cancer, I want to really support your immune system here. So I want you to have the Fucoid Z capsules, take 3 at breakfast, 3 at dinner time. And they have like, I don't know, 8 or 9 different algae from the ocean and all the trace minerals that are from the ocean that help your bone marrow and your immune system. And also for the history of cancer, that's going to help you with your immune system. Lastly, I want you to take our BTT 2.0 tablets, take 3 of those twice a day. That'll be 2 bottles a month. And they're designed to support your immune system, which is again is important here because your history of cancer, but also to be anti-inflammatory, reduce the inflammation in those joints, reduce the inflammation in the joints. And if you have pain in your hips, you can use our CM cream, okay, our CM cream and the trauma oil, or you can use the Soothe from our Hemp FX division and our trauma oil on your hips. And do they say, did you just have bone-to-bone arthritis in your hips, or do you have a vascular problem in your hips? Or they didn't say, they just said you have arthritis in your hips?
They just said I have arthritis. They did an X-ray and they said that I have an arthritis.
Okay. Yeah, well,
And they
this
said
is,
it's mild.
yeah, good. Well, that's a good time to catch it while it's mild. Let's
Yeah.
deal with this right now. And your doctor is going to be amazed in 3 months. And let's see if he asks you what you're doing. They almost never say, what they do say is, well, Sam, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's looking good. But they
Yep,
never
that's
say,
what
yeah, they never say, tell me what you're doing.
No, they don't.
Okay, we look forward to hearing from you. Call us every 2 weeks and give us a status report on a regular basis.
Okay.
Okay, it's toll free.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Sam. Sam Rawit. So, thank you. Woo. I love being able to pronounce people's names because it is so important. Next, let's go to Pat, who has a hand up. So Pat, go ahead and unmute yourself. You are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Okay.
Yes, how can we help you?
Did I get you? Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted. You're on.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Doc, for everything you do. We've been following you since 2008.
Wow. You're part of the
And-
family.
And yeah, and we've been taking supplements, and I'm 67 years old, 5'6", 153 pounds. And I'm I'm in pretty good shape. I exercise daily. Been on a gluten-free diet. I cheat every once in a while. My wife has to be on it. She was a registered nurse. She's sitting behind me, and she had to be on it. So I'm on it too, but every once in a while I cheat a little on it. So, and I just had a physical, and my cholesterol was 240. It's always a little high. My PSA went up, and that's what I'm mainly talking to you about. It went to 4.9, and we did the 4K test that they do now, and it was 53% on the 4K. So they recommend doing a biopsy on my prostate to check that. And I just wondered what you thought about that. And
Okay.
I take EFA, selenium, Prost FX, Ultimate KB, Prost Health. It's a drop bottle. It's an active. And the Tangy Tangerine, Osteo FX, MSM, and Flexicare. And
You taking any of the EFAs or EFA pluses?
I do take EFAs, the
Okay.
Ultimate EFA Plus.
Okay,
take
good.
4 of those a day.
Okay, do you take any MSM?
I do. I take 2 of those a day.
Okay, now you have to appreciate if all you're taking is 2 MSM a day, that's not enough for a guy 153 pounds. Okay.
Okay,
Or is it, 153 pounds, correct?
correct.
So I would take 3 twice a day. That's going to support and promote maintenance repair, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between a vertebrae, bone range, bone cell. A lot of times when doctors are telling you have a prostate problem, that's because you have either frequent urination or pain on urination or whatever. And they attribute that to a prostate issue, but almost always it's due to a back issue. Do you have any low back stuff going on?
I have for a few years.
Yeah.
I use an inversion table that really helps me.
Okay, good.
But
Yeah, that's symptomatic. It's not going to fix anything. It's symptomatic relief, right? Okay. And so basically what I would do is go to 3 of the MSM 3 times a day. Okay, for 6
Okay.
months. And then after that, go to 3 twice a day for maintenance. But start out with 3 times a day. It'll be 2 bottles a month of the MSM added to your program. And the low back issues will go away. The urination problems will go away, whether you're having frequency or struggle starting urination. Those things are oftentimes erroneously blamed on the prostate. And of course, that's how doctors make the tuition for their kids to go to college, is by doing biopsies, and then they want to do surgery, and they got like 6 steps that they go through. And so, they make about $30,000-$40,000 out of just the investigation.
right,
Okay.
right.
And so it's one of those things where why go through all that when it's a simple, take the nutrients, a lot cheaper and a lot safer. to take the nutrients. But they can keep an eye with an ultrasound, see if there's a mass or anything like that in the prostate. If there's no mass in the prostate on an ultrasound, there's no need to do a biopsy.
Okay.
Right? And so,
that for-
I would do the, are they talking about for a screen test or what is it for? I'm not familiar with the 4K test. What's that?
It's relative new tests that they do that checks
Cancer cells.
for cancer, 4 different types, I think he said, of cancer cells.
Okay, is this a blood test? Is this a blood test?
Yeah, they take blood.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said if for me, when they sent me my card back, it said your 4K score was elevated to 53%. And they don't do a biopsy if it's under 7.5%. And it, and I looked online just to see what it was, and it's just a new test that they have out. They say it's supposed to be good for diagnosis.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll check it out. But in the meantime, yeah, do ultrasounds and things like that and see if there's any, even if there's a pea-sized mass, it's worth looking at. But
Right.
if there's no masses, and you have a back problem, and the reason why they looked at that is because you have a history of a little bit of a struggle starting a urine stream, or maybe you're urinating 5 times an hour, those kinds of things will make them think about prostate, because they think the prostate is the gatekeeper of urination for males.
Right.
Okay.
And I
but
really
the-
haven't had any trouble that way. And I told him, I get up, when I go to bed at night, I'll sleep for 6 hours and then I'll get up and go, and then I have to go a couple times. But I don't have any trouble going, and it seems like I got good flow. And
He did a digital exam at the office and didn't feel any nodules or anything either.
Okay,
Right.
didn't show any nodules. Okay, good.
He said everything was smooth. It was a little enlarged, but it's
Well.
been that way for quite a while.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go there. You're already taking all the good stuff. And so let's add the MSM. And let's see here. I'd add some extra the selenium. I want you to be taking at least 6 selenium a day. Do you have anything going on with blood pressure or diabetes?
No, no.
Okay, good. Now, when you say no, does
Right.
that mean you don't have anything going on there, or you have something going on, but you got it under control with pharmaceuticals?
No, I'm not on anything. I
Okay,
don't
good.
take any cholesterol medicines or anything.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right. So, let's see, what the ultrasound says about the prostate. I wouldn't volunteer for a biopsy yet. Okay. But see if there's any nodules or anything like that. Cysts are harmless. But again, with the fact that you have a bit of a low back issue, I would venture to say that that's the origin, what's going on here.
Okay.
Okay.
And on that prostate health, the drop bottle, it says not for prolonged use. And I just started taking that this last month, and I just wondered how long I could take that.
Okay, well, I would take it, you could take it, say, for 2 months. Go ahead and take it for 2 months, but let's see what's going on, when you get the ultrasound. And
Okay.
let's see what happens with, with the MSM. Let's see how that low back issue goes, and we'll go from there.
All right.
So what about oxybody or killer biotic? Would that help him?
Well, I don't know if it'll,
Cancer, would that help?
If you don't
Well,
have it, you don't know. Huh?
yeah, we don't know if he has it, but the killer biotic, I take 3 of those twice a day just for supporting my immune system. I'm 82 years old, and the killer biotic is a mixture of mushrooms that support the immune system, and so I like that to support the immune system. So I don't have anything against taking it, because I take 3 of those twice a day, are killer biotic. And then what was the other one you were asking about?
The oxybody.
Oh, oxybody. Yeah. Especially if you're exercising, you're hanging upside down on an inversion board or something like that. There's nothing wrong with taking oxybody. It's a source of oxygen, which is a great healer. Also helps you maximize the benefit from other supplements and things like that by giving your cells oxygen. And do you exercise at all? Do you walk or anything like that?
Yeah, I walk every night and I exercise every morning for
Okay.
not a lot, but just.
Okay, well, there, very good. Yeah, well, I would take half your dose of Oxybody before you start your exercise event, and then and when you're done, take the other half.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
okay, yeah.
He's really good as far as his diet. I don't let him have a lot of nitrates or anything. Of course, we cheat a little bit. We shouldn't, but it's really hard to find food that is satisfying and you know, I'm a retired nurse, and I just don't believe in conventional medicine anymore. And so it's just so hard to believe anything, but I've got all your books. I've been trying to go through that for preventative measures. I'm trying to put a plan together for him.
Okay, well, good. Well, it's a great thing. You got a personal nurse there.
Right, right.
It's a beautiful story. But
Yeah,
please call us every 2 weeks and, give us, an update what's going on here. People want to know what's going on. And
okay,
so please, let us know what's going on. And then, of course, you want to email that and share that with your folks. And but do come on every couple of weeks. And, anytime you go to the doctor or anything like that, give us a report, because
okay,
people will want to follow you because, you have a great story.
okay.
Okay,
Well,
thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Thank you for
Okay.
your help. We appreciate it.
Okay.
God bless.
Okay, God bless you. Bye-bye.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. Now, again, everybody, if you hear of anything that relates to you or someone you know and you want to get the products that Dr. Wallach is recommending, get with the person that invited you to this program. But you can also go to the store at AskDocLive.com. We also have Dr. Wallach's most popular books there as well. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop. You can listen to the replays, you can order the products, you can get the books, and there you go. So
There.
were you going to say something, Dr. Wallach?
No, I'm just smiling to you.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so Sandra put in the comments, good morning, and thank you for your help. She is 62 years old, 100 pounds, 4'11", and her question is about fibromyalgia. She's been taking tramadol with paracetamol or paracetamol every day for 12 years. She has lost 30 pounds, and she's wanting to know if a liver detox is recommended.
Okay. Well, first of all, we got to get her off all those pharmaceuticals after 12 years. See, the pharmaceuticals don't fix the problem. They just maybe ameliorate or reduce the symptoms. Okay. And so apparently you're happy enough that you've been taking them for 12, 15, 20 years. It's way, way too long. But at 100 pounds, that's about right for somebody who's 4'11". All right. 100 pounds. And so what I want you to do is take, well, first of all, get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no rhinos, no sugar, no carbonated drinks, even the diet ones got to go. And I would take one healthy brain and heart pack per month, take a half a dose of everything twice a day, except for the selenium, get another bottle of R-selenium with the 5 cofactors in it, not from Walgreens, but R-selenium. And so you can take 3 twice a day or 2, 3 times a day for a total of 6 a day. That's particularly useful for the fibromyalgia. And also have you take the MSM. Go ahead and get 2 bottles of MSM so you can take 3 with each meal. They're going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone matrix, bone itself. And when you're talking about fibromyalgia, it's a disease of the fibrous tissue. We're talking about tendons and ligaments and stuff like that. And so that's why you need 3 of those MSM 3 times a day, 2 bottles a month. And very quickly, usually within 10 to 14 days, you'll see significant benefit. And certainly within a month or 2, this could all be gone. I don't care if you've had the problem for 40 years. The body has an enormous capacity to heal itself given the right raw materials. And then, of course, topically for pain, you want to use our CM cream and our trauma oil. Excuse me. You can also use again our Soothe from our Hemp FX division. It's a little pump bottle, and then add the trauma oil to that. And with the CM cream, you'll get about 2 hours of pain relief. With the Soothe, you're going to get 3 to 4 hours of pain relief. And so I like to use the Soothe, say a half hour, 15 minutes before bedtime. And then the CM cream used during the day, because you can just take that with you, no problem. You can actually take the Soothe with you. There's no THC in it, so there's no possibility of getting in trouble with the hemp problems, THC, because there's none in there. Okay, so I think you're fixable with fibromyalgia. It's a very simple connective tissue issue. It's a nutritional deficiency. It's not autoimmune. It's not genetic. Okay,
Very
back to you.
painful. It's very painful. I know
Oh,
that
yeah.
for a fact, but 3 weeks is all it took me, Dr. Wallach. So
It took you 3, and how long has you had fibromyalgia?
about 20 years.
You had it for 20 years and took you 3 weeks to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Were you kind of angry with your doctors a little bit?
I've had to let go a lot of anger. Yeah. You know, all those medical bills, all those painful treatments, all those years of pain. And within 9 weeks, Dr. Wallach, I didn't have any of it.
Isn't that
So
amazing?
it was incredible, and I'm never going back. No way.
Now, did your doctor email or text you and say, would you tell me what you did so I can share with the rest of my patients? I don't think so.
Oh, no, of course not. But yeah, so it is what it is. And the fact that I'm able to move forward and just, you know, share what I have found, share you with the world, it is the greatest.
It's a beautiful, beautiful story. We can't thank you enough.
Next, let's go, Dr. Wallach, to the next hand up, and that is Tammy. Tammy had some great questions in the comments. Tammy, go ahead and unmute yourself. You're on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi there. I'm actually calling for my husband.
Okay.
So my husband is 59, weighs about 180. It's about 5'6". He's diabetic on metformin and Jardiance, not insulin. Has an enlarged prostate. Does have gray hair. Sorry, I'm gonna shut the door because I can hear his conversation. Has gray hair, thinning hair. He has scoliosis. So his whole life he's dealt with a lot of pain with the scoliosis. And in 2015, he had a blockage in his heart, and they put a stent in. And then like that following year, he had a really bad bout with sciatica that through chiropractic and just some other things, we did eventually get past that. So we started taking the longevity, you know, kind of the basic products, and I'd throw something in here and there. So we have been taking the Core 90 pretty consistently, like I say, plus some other random vitamins. But I just wanted to call and say, so with starting taking the 90 and some other stuff, his pain level is way down, because for years he's always dealt with a lot of back pain, shoulder pain, you know, his calf muscle was just super painful. Anyways, so he's dealt with a lot of pain, but in the past, say 6 months that we've been taking longevity supplements, a lot of that has gotten better.
Okay.
But he's still, you know, the diabetes still is not under control.
Okay,
and
stop,
the prostate.
stop. Okay, stop. Does he have any high blood pressure? Even if it's under control with medication, does he have high blood pressure?
You know, his blood pressure is pretty good. And,
Okay.
you know, of course, they want him on blood pressure meds, and we kind of went, no, we don't really need to go there. So his blood pressure, I think, is pretty good now.
Okay, good. All right. So this is a very common story. He's got, you know, coronary artery disease, and he had a stent put in. But when you have coronary artery disease, you also have blocked arteries in the brain. You have blocked arteries in the kidneys. That's why I was asking about the blood pressure. Does he have any kidney issues?
Not that we're aware of. I mean, he's been diabetic, you know, on metformin for 10 years. So, I mean, you kind of know there probably is, but nothing that is showing
well, here's, well, for $1.50, you can go to a pharmacy and get some, you know, urine test strips. And you know, do your own little urine test for $1.50 and find out if there's anything going on, you know, with the kidneys, because usually when you have kidney issues, you're going to have blood pressure issues. Okay, they go together. So anyway, here we go. None of the bad foods. And again, this
Right.
is for our greater listening audience, because you're already doing a lot of this stuff, but for the greater listening audience, none of the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, rye, oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet one's got to go. At 180 pounds, he needs 2 of our healthy brain and heart packs per month, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. I'm going to get 2 bottles a month, especially with a history of sciatica. I want him to get 2 bottles a month of our MSM, so he can take 3 with each meal. And they're designed to support and promote maintenance, repair, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone breaks your bone itself. And that'll be a great story there. And because he's got clogged arteries in his heart, probably got him in the brain and the kidneys, I also want him to get 2 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, so I can take 3 twice a day. And they will support healthy blood flow through blocked arteries in the brain, the heart, the kidneys, the legs, everywhere. Also support healthy blood pressure. But also, I want him to take our sweeties. I want him to take 2 bottles a month of our sweeties, so he can take 3 twice a day. Do not cold turkey off his medication for his diabetes. But as his blood sugar comes down, he can slowly reduce his medication based on the numbers. And usually within 2 to 6 weeks, he won't need to be on medication for diabetes. I don't care if he's been a diabetic for 40 years. Type 2 diabetes is a very, very simple nutritional deficiency disease. There's 2 nutrients, either one of those being deficient, you get type 2 diabetes. When you're deficient in both of them, you're going to have really severe type 2 diabetes. But it's still just a simple nutritional deficiency disease. It's not genetic or not autoimmune in any way, shape, or form. Easy to get rid of. Type 1 diabetes is a birth defect. It's not a genetic birth defect, but mom is missing stuff in the bone marrow cells that actually make the cells for the beta cells for the islets of Langerhans in the pancreas are insufficient. So the baby's born with maybe 6 beta cells per islet of Langerhans when they should have 6,000. And so that's a type 1. I actually get people who call me, they're 65 years old and say, my doctor just diagnosed me with type 1. I said, that's impossible. Were you born with it? No, I just got it. Well, if you're type 1, that means, did your doctor tell your husband he's got type 1 or type 2?
Type 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and of
Well,
course
type-
it's genetic is, the
No.
story, because I hear you, but I'm just saying, yes.
No.
When he was diagnosed, we understood it because it is family history. But yeah, we're starting to realize that it's more to it than that.
Yeah. Well, family history means nothing because it's
Yeah.
not a genetic disease. It's not autoimmune. It's a simple nutritional deficiency. And you can have 5 generations of your family with diabetes, and you move to another part of the country and you don't get diabetes because those minerals are found naturally in the land there, as opposed to where those 5 generations grew up, right? And
Yeah.
so, and then when somebody calls me and says they're 65 years old and they're just diagnosed with type 1, the doctor needs to go to jail, because what happened was they gave him metformin, which is an oral product. And so, and they didn't get any response. He said, well, see, that's why you're type 1. You didn't even respond to the metformin. Well, that's because they could not absorb the metformin because their intestines are dead for eating gluten.
Yeah.
Couldn't absorb. So we get them off of gluten and get them
Yeah.
on the program.
Right.
And usually within 2 to 4 weeks, they're not a diabetic anymore. And then I said, well, what'd your doctor say? He said, well, just keep doing what I'm doing. Did he ask you what you're doing? He said, no, don't come
Yeah.
back. Because he didn't want
Yeah.
me sitting in the waiting room talking to other people.
Hey, I have
Okay.
a related question. So with his work, they're going to be requiring he have the vaccination October 1st.
Mhm.
So we're stalling as long as we can in case they change their mind, but we're kind of going on the assumption he's going to have to take it.
Okay.
Any
Stop.
thoughts or recommendations?
Yeah, I took the Moderna vaccination, both the first one and the second one. Okay. And I've been taking vaccinations all my life because I was in the military for 27 years. Every year I'd get 10 vaccinations in the military for 27 years. So I'm not afraid of vaccinations. But they don't kill the bug. Vaccinations don't kill the bug. They just alert
Right.
your body to the bad guy. So you're responsible for killing the bug. Well, you got to take the 90 essential nutrients. You got to stay away from gluten so you can absorb them. And so there's this whole process. Well, to finish up your hubby's stuff, he should also take the Prostate FX. You can go ahead and take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. I want him to have the hair, skin, and nails. He can have 3 of those twice a day. That's going to help him with hair loss and get his hair color back to normal. Also, The scoliosis, I want him to have vitamin D3. He needs 3 of those 3 times a day. That's 3 bottles a month of our vitamin D3. The diabetes, again, I want him to have the sweeties. He could take 3 of those twice a day or 3 times a day, whatever you want to do. But don't cold turkey off his medication. But as his blood sugar begins to drop, you can slowly reduce the medication based on the numbers. And usually in 2 to 6 weeks, he's an ex-diabetic. The hair color will come back, which means he's absorbing. The scoliosis with 3 of the MSM 3 times a day, that's 2 bottles a month because they're big bottles. That will definitely help him rebuild the disc between the vertebrae and the vertebrae itself and all the tendons and ligaments in the back. And then again, the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, because he's got the stents put in his heart. He's probably got plugged arteries in his brain and his kidneys and everywhere else. So I want him to have 3 bottles of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets so he can take 3 times a day. And that's going to support healthy blood flow through the blocked arteries and support healthy blood pressure. So give us a call every 2 weeks because you're going to have a great story here. I believe the sciatica will go away, the scoliosis will go away. All these blocked arteries will open up. Cholesterol has nothing to do with blocked arteries. That was a myth. And of course, they came out with statin drugs to lower your cholesterol, and they caused Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease did not exist. There was dementias, senile dementia, and that kind of stuff for hundreds of, maybe even thousands of years. But Alzheimer's disease didn't exist until 1960. It's a very specific deficiency of cholesterol. 75% of your brain weight is cholesterol. And so you do want to make sure your hubby's eating 3 eggs twice a day. Soft yolks, hard-boiled eggs don't count. Fried eggs, whether they're fried in butter or oils, cause cancer. He can have soft boiled eggs, soft yolks, soft poached eggs, soft yolks, soft scrambled butter. I do that myself 3 twice a day. Been doing it for my whole life, and I'm 82. So, give us a call every couple of weeks. Your story, your hubby's story is going to be a help to a lot of people. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think our biggest struggle is the food thing, and we're working on getting rid of the gluten and getting rid of that. But yeah,
Eat like an Asian. Eat like an Asian.
Yeah, we're getting there, and I think that's probably what's blocking things from being effective.
Rice, corn, rice, beans,
but
squash.
I do have your cookbook, so
good. You got the new cookbook. Good girl.
We're working on it. So thank you so much. I do appreciate your advice.
Okay, Tammy, give us a call every couple of weeks. Give us a status report, okay? Because things are going to change positively very quickly here.
I hope so.
Oh yeah.
All right. Thank you, Tammy. Okay, so Dr. Wallach, she brought up something that a lot of people are questioning when it comes to the vaccine. And there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of opinions on it, but people are wanting to know your take as well. So supposedly the COVID vaccine sheds spikes. And the shedding that usually has come from a live virus, right? But the vax is supposedly not alive. They're wanting to know what your take is as far as transmission of COVID.
Okay.
Person once somebody's been vaccinated, and how long somebody who has not.
Well, I think I talked about this at the beginning of monologue in the first hour, that the let's see here, the Pfizer vaccine has now been shown to be only 47% effective against the Delta variant from India,
Right.
where it was 94% effective against the original virus. The Moderna vaccine is 76% effective against the Delta variant and 94% effective against the original virus. Well, I'm glad I took the Moderna virus. I took 2 of them because I have to fly so much, and they won't let you on an airplane without proof of vaccination. So I got it. But I took 10 vaccinations a year for 27 years when I was in the military, 7 years in the Army and 20 years in the Air Force. And you get in line and they give you 10 vaccinations at one time. And so I was never afraid of vaccinations because it's something I've done a lot of over the years. But vaccinations do not kill the viruses directly. They do not kill the virus directly. They alert your body to the bad DNA and RNA of the viruses. And then it's up to you and your body to kill the bug. Now, if you're not taking the supplements, you're not going to kill the bug. If you're taking the supplements, but you're still eating gluten, so you're not absorbing the supplements, you're still not going to kill the bug. And that's why they have so many breakthrough infections. You say, well, my husband, he took both vaccinations, whether it was the Moderna or the Pfizer. I hear this story all the time. And then 3 months later, he dies of the COVID. How'd that be? He was vaccinated twice. Well, what did he eat for breakfast every morning? Well, oatmeal. Been doing it for 40 years. Well, there you go. That's why he died, because he couldn't absorb any nutrition to defend himself against the bug. The vaccinations do not kill the bug. They just alert you to the bad DNA of the bug.
All
Okay.
right, thank you, Dr. Wallach. Next, let's go to Martha, and I'm glad Martha raised her hand. She has a very great question for you as well. Martha,
Okay.
go ahead and unmute yourself, and if you're able to turn your camera on, that would be very helpful for Dr. Wallach to address your questions.
Hello, this is I'm speaking on behalf of Martha. I'm gonna
Okay, I was
translate.
just say, you don't sound like Martha.
Yes, I'm not. I'm gonna speak translate for her. So the question
What's her language? What country is she from?
is Spanish. She's from
Okay.
Mexico.
Okay.
We live in the US, but she doesn't speak English. So the question was, she's been having she has what they call Barrett stomach or esophagus. She has had chronic gastritis and an ulcer in the stomach, apparently due to a bacteria that she had a few years ago. But now she has a lot of symptoms in the mouth of the stomach, and nausea, weakness. So she's
Okay.
she has
Okay,
solution.
I got it. You said it 3 times. You said it 3 times already. Okay, so how old is she? How old is Martha?
71-year-old,
How much does she weigh?
153 pounds,
Okay, how tall is she?
5'1".
Okay, yeah, so she's maybe 50 pounds overweight. And when you have gastritis, there's an entity called gastroparesis, where the stomach pain, nausea, you get problems in your esophagus, all kinds of stuff. The odds are she has osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, which controls the stomach. Does she have anything going on with her heart? Does she have an irregular heartbeat or fast heart rate or anything like that?
She has high blood pressure and diabetes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And yep.
Okay, well, here we go. She needs to get rid of all the bad foods. And she got to stop eating like a Latino. She needs to eat like an Asian. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, no barley, rye, oats, no flour tortillas, no spaghetti, none of that kind of stuff, no pan. She needs to, let's see, at 153 pounds, I'd have her take 2 of the Healthy Brain and Heart Packs per month, 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs per month. I'd have her take the MSM 1 bottle a month, so you can take 3 twice a day. And that will support healthy maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc, between bone breaks, including the skull. Take the pressure off that 10th cranial nerve and stop that gastritis. It's called gastroparesis is what she's got. Also, she could also have a problem with her 9th cranial nerve being squeezed. It's called the glossopharyngeal nerve, which can cause problems with swallowing and also with the esophagus. She has high blood pressure. I'd have her take the Ultimate Daily Classic tablet. She could take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. That's going to support healthy blood pressure and healthy blood flow through blocked arteries. She's on diabetes. I'm sure she's on medication. So she needs to be, she needs to be taking 2 bottles a month of the Sweeties. So you can take 3 of those twice a day. Don't cold turkey off the medication for either the high blood pressure or the diabetes. But as the situation improves for the high blood pressure and diabetes, she can slowly reduce the prescription drug for the high blood pressure and slowly reduce the prescription drugs for the diabetes. Usually take anywhere from 2 to 6 to 10 weeks to get rid of the prescription drugs. Don't cold turkey off of them, but diabetes is easy to get rid of. High blood pressure is easy to get rid of. This gastritis is easy to get rid of once you're taking the proper supplements. But she's got to get rid of the gluten. Everybody in the household, dog, cat, bird, fish, spouse, renter, roommate, caregiver, everybody's got to be gluten-free so there's no cross-contamination so she can maximize absorption of the supplements, okay?
Okay.
Okay, then call us every 2 weeks because you're going to have a great story. And so, we have a lot of Latinos involved with longevity. We have a lot of Latinos all over the world. You name a country, we got a lot there. And so that's why we have our book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, in English and Spanish. The CD is in 9 languages, including Spanish. And so we have so much information in Spanish because of our Spanish family so many people who with a Latino background. Okay, so we do have lots of stuff in Spanish for them. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. God bless. Vaya
All
con
right,
Dios.
thank you. So Dr. Wallach, let's go to rice. So I know for myself, I had metabolic syndrome I had a lot of metabolic syndrome issues. And when I ate rice, it raised my blood sugar. Now that I've been on the program, I'm able to eat it without it affecting my blood sugar as long as I don't overdo it. And I know carbohydrates are very important. Can I get enough of the carbohydrates through eating, my vegetables and avoiding rice?
Okay, you can get carbohydrates from beans. You can get carbohydrates from potatoes and yams. You get carbohydrates even from carrots. Okay, you can get carbohydrates from rice and sweet potatoes and white potatoes. Nothing wrong with that. But you do have to take all 90 essential nutrients and avoid the gluten. I mean, I have sweet potatoes probably 3 nights a week, usually with a steak or lamb chops. I will have maybe a sweet potato maybe once or twice a week for breakfast with my eggs, and because so I don't eat rice every morning. But I'd say most mornings I'll eat wild rice. They're steamed, 3 big scoops of wild rice. So I eat a lot of the carbohydrates in the form of rice and potatoes. I do eat some beans. I do eat some corn, but I take so many nutrients that deal with metabolism of carbohydrates that it's not a problem. But I do not eat any gluten. There's no gluten in the house. People come to my house with a loaf of bread. I punch them in the nose and say, "Get out." Okay, they say, "You're not going to bring any gluten into my house. No pan." Okay.
Well, for somebody to do that, I think that would just be disrespectful to you, coming specifically to your house with that. So I will never do that.
Okay, good.
So,
well,
all right. So yeah, I just wanted to ask that question because I know there are people that have blood sugar issues and like I myself, before taking the supplementation.
That's what Sweeties is for. Okay. And you can have rice, you can have potatoes, you can have millet, you can have buckwheat, those kind of things. And corn, none of them have any gluten in them. And so it's not difficult to eat without gluten. And I always say, just, eat like an Asian, or you can eat like one of the indigenous peoples from Australia and New Zealand. And they eat very little, if any, wheat. And so that's why they have, in New Zealand, they only have 26 dead from the pandemic, and only just short of 3,000 infections. And they have the same number of people as we have in our state of Louisiana, 5 million. And we have 11,000 dead from the pandemic. And we have, let's see here, let's see, we have 590,446 infections in Louisiana, and they only have 2,800 infections in New Zealand, same population. And that's because of the diet. It's diet. And I guarantee you those 26 people who died were probably working around military bases where you had, American sailors or Marines and stuff like that, where they're eating a lot of pancakes for breakfast and stuff like that. And they may have been employees in those military bases and eating like the Americans. And that's why they died, because they're getting gluten.
All right, thank you. And that leads us into the next question. So Maureen would like to know, and she's got 2 parts. What is the proper way to take the Sweeties?
Okay, Sweeties, I take 3 twice a day. I just take them with all my other supplements. I have a big bottle with all my supplements. I make about 25 bottles every 2 weeks because I take 2 bottles of those a day. And so I go through a bottle that has 90 capsules, tablets, and pills in it twice a day. And plus I have all my liquids twice a day. And then I take my rebound for 2 before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so, I've been doing this for a long time. And so it's just part of my routine. I would never give it up. And so I don't take the Sweeties separately. I just take them with all my other tablets, pills, and capsules, and my drinks, and so on.
And that was 3 twice a day.
3 twice a day, and I weigh 142.
Perfect. Now, the next part of her question, Dr. Wallach, is in regards to pain in her back. It goes from the legs to, it goes down her legs from the hip to the calf. So we do have her on a protocol for sciatica. And I just want to see, you know, for the greater listening audience, again, will you give the protocol for sciatica and then any additional therapeutics that can be done? I know what I did, and that's that inversion table.
Mhm.
And that made a
Yeah.
world of difference.
Yeah, the inversion table can actually stretch, you know, the ligaments and joints, and actually, you know, make sure that there's good circulation, all that kind of stuff. So it's a good physical therapy. The thing you have to do when it comes to sciatica and low back issues, again, you want to take, I'll just go for 100 pounds, one Healthy Brain and Heart pack per month, extra bottle of our selenium. It's because you want the cofactors as well as the selenium. Then you also need the MSM, 1 bottle a month for 100 pounds of body weight. Take 3 twice a day if you weigh only 150 or less. And that's going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, all the sciatica stuff. And so vitamin D3, I like to throw that in, vitamin D3. It doesn't hurt to take some cal toddy, take an extra cal toddy, take some glucogel, which is the raw material for your body to make, again, cartilage and ligaments and tendons and connective tissue. And you're kind of put things, tilting them in your favor when you add that glucogel and the MSM and the cal toddy to your program. And so this is something you pay attention to your car. Do you just put dirt from Texas and Oklahoma in your car? No, come on now. There's bound to be some oil in that. That's dirt from Texas, Oklahoma. Now, an insane person wouldn't do that to their car. But then they say, well, I eat well. Why should I have to take supplements? Well, it's the same thing as putting dirt from Texas in your car instead of putting oil in your car. So you really, really have to do that. So also you put in your car, you put antifreeze. And then, and for wintertime and overheating, it also works on reducing the risk of overheating, as well as preventing freezing of the engine and cracking the engine and so on. And so then people take the air pressure in their tires. They look over their tires, make sure there's no nails in it or anything like that. And so why not do that for yourself 3 times a week? Well, I do it every day, because I travel so much locally and by car and truck and stuff like that. I haven't started taking trains yet. There's too many sick people on the trains, both mentally and physically. They're having too many fights and things like that, too many shootings and things like that on trains. So I'm not interested in going on trains yet. But that's why we're doing so many Zooms right now, because I can speak to, and we have a huge audience. Do you have any idea how many people are in your audience? How many people are listening or watching?
So right now live, I have seen over 90, but this program, some of our replays have been watched almost 10,000 times.
Yeah, and so you're looking at 90 to 100 people. And so not only that, again, you say it's posted. And so then people by the hundreds, maybe even the thousands, are watching it every day. And so this little interview we're having here, we're sharing with live people, but also it's being watched by people over and over and over and over and over again. So we're using this media technology to reach thousands of people. So I'm very, very proud of you guys for making this available to your longevity family. It's really a blessing. And of course, I do so much radio, guest radio. I do Zooms into foreign countries, the Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Africa. I do Zooms all over the country in Europe. And so I'm speaking literally to millions of people every week through all these various media things, and I'm very, very proud of that. And so it's a continuous thing that you have to be on top of. You can't make it available just to 2 or 3 people. And I learned this when I first started this when I was a kid. And that's why I first came out with that original audio cassette tape, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And right now there's over 600 million copies in circulation. It's in 9 languages. And so it goes all over the world. It's still, I get so many people tell me that I just got done listening to the Dead Doctor Don't Lie audio cassette tape. You still have a player? Oh yeah.
Yep,
And so-
sometimes we have to dig out that old player, but
Yeah.
so Dr. Wallach, we are at the top of the hour. I can't
Mhm.
believe 2 hours have gone by already. And I know that your schedule is full.
Yes.
I don't want to keep you any longer than we have to, so you can get some rebound. But on behalf of myself and my co-host John T. McCollier and Nasima Omar and Ruth Ellen Sanchez, we love you. We love being part of this crusade and Warriors for Wallach. And we just want to say thank you to you for spending this time with us and allowing us to get the message out. And we want to thank everybody who is on with us for taking time out of your schedules, for sharing this information with others. And if you have thought about, going into business and having a business with purpose, get with the person that invited you to this program. If nobody invited you, go to our AskDocLive.com website and click on the contact us and send us a message that you're interested in this business opportunity. We have a great group. We're more like a family. We're a community. And we all work together. And the fact that we can come from around the world to do that is absolutely incredible. And it all started with you, Dr. Wallach.
Well, thank you, dear. Thank you and your team. Very proud of you all. God bless you. Bye con Dios.
Bye for now, everybody.
Bye-bye.